Alright, and welcome to my presentation of the climate change VR project. This is actually my second time recording because last time I found the bug mid-recording and now I fixed it. So, yeah, let's begin. So, you have play instruction and exit. You can, let's show instruction first. So, once you go to instruction, up above you can see the instruction menu, like it says the actual GUI. It says here start menu and here it says instruction menu. It's for that for every single like menu there is. So in the actual instructions, here you have an instruction like how to use the button, how to use the slider in the actual game, like where it says variable, it's the actual variable unit is the euros or liters or anything. So here it actually shows like why this was made, uh, the actual simulation, like it's used to simulate like realistic values. And why I put quotes around realistic, because like the actual values have been exaggerated. So for example, Netherlands, the results have been exaggerated by 5. So by year 2100, if the sea level would rise by 1 meter, I set it to 5 meters just so you can like better see the actual like change. Malta's results by 10, like the actual pH of water changing, and obviously the water won't turn green, just the pH or acidity will like be lower and won't actually go the green. And Turkey basically made it like the worse climate change is, the redder the sky will be, and there will be like kind of like black particles going around, which will simulate the virus is spreading. So here there is like 3 menus around me. So here it shows how you can like leave a country. So basically it's a return button. In the actual game it will be like placed around here. The actual open button, it says it'll be located in front of you, slide to the right. The actual button will be around here somewhere. And the show info, that's to show how a country will try to like mitigate or adapt from climate change which is affecting them. So like that will be like around here, like behind you, slightly to the right. So return. uh yeah, without further ado, let's go test. There's 3 countries. Let's check the Netherlands out first because it's the easiest to show effects in. So here you can see like the water level kind of. uh these are supposed to be the dams of Delta Works. So show info, like these ones, the actual dams are supposed to be these ones. So for Netherlands, alright, so actually let me just show you the variables. First of all, these are the variables which you can manipulate to actually worsen or better the climate change. So cars, let's now make it as worse as we can. So you can already kind of see the water slightly rising, and like they'll soon be over that little dam. And let's make it bad. You can kind of see it's already going above it. And let's just put a nail to the coffin, as I say. Wait, no, that's wait. Let's make it bad. Yep, this one. Mm, yep. The actual values themselves, like I was researching for a long time, and I actually used like some references, like by the help of AI. AI is really good to find like information. Obviously, I searched it up to check if it's actually true, and I found research papers about it. So the actual values, I try to keep them as realistic as possible. Obviously, some values you can't really obtain, but I try to make it as realistic as possible. So you can already see the Netherlands is kind of already flooded. So let's see how Malta is doing. Let's go. Oh, yeah. So Malta is green. basically that's supposed to simulate the pH lowering, also known as acidity. So right now it's kind of acidic, and Malta's like way to counter that is, well, they have a lot of osmosis plants, the most popular one being in Pembroke, and basically it's kind of filtering out the water like for actual citizens. So let's kind of fix it. As you can see right now, it's like really green. So let's try to make that like slightly bluer. So you can, it's already starting to be less green right now, and renewable energy, I think they'll fix it by a lot. So yeah, you can kind of you could have kind of seen like it turning slightly more blue. Trees planted. Yeah, why not? Yeah, you can see it's kind of back to normal. Mm, let's make it even better than it actually is in real life. Mm, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for Malta. Like you can see the water turning greener the worse it is, and bluer the better it is. And now that it's almost as best as it can be. So let's check how Turkey's doing. You can kind of already see the actual sky being like lighter. You could like see some of the like black particles going around that's supposed to simulate the virus. Also above here, I forgot to mention, you can like in the GUI, you can see how much the rent temperature and the happiness is for each country. Uh, let's just make this worse. You can see them changing in real time. And the skies are right now. This sky how like it'll be in real life if you don't do anything. Like according to current situation, if we don't make anything worse or better. Well, let's make it worse. Mm. You can kind of already see like slightly more particles going around than earlier. Earlier it was kind of uh like it wasn't that bad in terms of you can also see the sky turning redder and redder. Like obviously in real life it won't actually turn redder and redder, but it's just an effect. Like to visualize it better. Yeah, so you can now you can see like the particles being like really chaotic. Let's just make this really bad. Uh, I think that's as bad as it can be. It can be slightly worse, but it doesn't matter. That's pretty bad right now. So that's the actual game. Uh, there's I don't know if you could hear the buttons. There is sounds when you press the buttons, but my recording is really my recording is like really low, like volume for some reason. I don't know why. But I'll be quiet for a second so you can maybe hear. Hopefully you heard that. Yeah, I mean the volume has been boosted as much as it can be on Streamlabs. Let's just try again. You could hear slightly the sound. And for me it's like not that low, but I think in the recording it's going to be low. Like right now I'm pretty loud like in while I'm recording this, and I think the mic is like slightly below average in terms of like sound level. So hopefully you can understand everything I'm saying. Yeah, and finally, the exit button will just do window.close. So let's go into actual code, the fun part. So from the actual like assets, the only like HTML file is the actual index.html. Everything else it's either for now I only have like one sound. It's easy to implement sounds. So if this was actually going to be like launched or bettered up, obviously I could add more sounds, but the immersion is not bad. These are images I used and the 3D models. So let's go into the actual code. don't mind that. That's from the bug I found earlier. So the three the three scripts. So initially I had like another script which was no particle system, but I changed it last minute. Well, not last minute, but I changed it from the actual proposal because events not events sorry animation component before you had to import it, but now it's in the core A-frame, so it was just there for no reason, and I needed the particles either way for the turkey. Alright, so these are the assets. I preloaded them. I couldn't preload the circle one because of the actual script. It doesn't let you use the preloaded assets. I tried, but I couldn't really get it. So yeah, these are the. Alright, so let's begin. This is the user box. This is where everything actually is for the camera. So here's the actual entity I'm using for the camera. Here is the cursor it uses. It uses a raycaster, so I can actually click on like these classes. I don't think I need to go into much detail about that. And here's the actual like GUI components. Like uh, you can like on the actual screen. Let me actually open it up just to make it easier. Like on top you can see start menu. That's this one. And once I like change the actual menus, it changes correspondingly. So, and here you can also see like rent, temperature, and happiness. That's like once you go in the actual countries will be shown. And that's the on-screen GUIs. Also there is GUI variables. Those are the actual variables in the game. Here you can see the open. That's like to show them. The return. That's to go back to the actual map selection. And the info text. Show info. That's the one to actually show the little what's it called? The little image about each country's like way to stop climate change in their country. Like the little variables, they are in the where is it? Yeah, here. So they're actually in the entity. Yeah, mm, menu with buttons. That's what it's called. So I can later just like hide it. Uh, that's why I set it all in one entity. And this is all of them. Like 16 of them. I laid them out nicely so it's easier for me. And also for the image for you, so if you like for review. Start menu. These are the different boxes. Start menu, instruction menu, selection menu, and the three countries. These are like the actual. Sorry. These are the actual like worlds. This is like the start menu. This is the selection menu. Like below, like for the actual country, and the instruction menu is behind the start menu. I try to make it like the transition seamless. Obviously you can see like once you're going down to the countries, I try to have like a little effect of like different worlds. That's why I set them like as globes, and you can like see it when you enter the country. But yeah, that so yeah, these are the three countries. They just have like the entities in them. So this like the sky. This is the actual like GLTF object, and the ocean. That's for Netherlands. For Turkey, I have like the what's it called? Like the particles. I have the particles. I have the object, and I have the sky. For Malta, I just have the little sky, Malta object, and the ocean. Same with Netherlands. So that's it for the countries. Let's get into the actual script part. So this is like a long. I have what like over 1,000 like parts, and 600 of those are like scripts. So here, like at the beginning of the script, Sky Turkey, like this is a little like code. It's simple code. It just goes through the actual mesh to find the node, and I'm saving it to the Turkey Sky, so I can like later change the color of it. I made it like easier to understand everything with comments. So this is the variable final. This is what's used like to actually change the different things like sky in Turkey particles, and like how green the ocean is in Malta, and Netherlands the little water, yeah, like the sea level. So change Turkey. Let's begin with these ones. So change Turkey. Here is a little system set timeout. Basically, it checks if there is a timer going on, which will later be set. Just so it makes the actual thing go smoother. Basically, it makes a loop with five, if I'm not mistaken, it's milliseconds of delay. So it's just like seamless. Uh, you can like it's easy to understand if you just go through it, I think. Yeah, so I use the same thing for change Turkey, change Malta, and change Netherlands. They all have the little my loop thing. So change Turkey 2, it's the one with the actual particles. I didn't do it with the my loop because changing the actual amount of particles really quick, it could cause like a lot of lag, and it could even crash the game. So I just settled to instant changing. So yeah. So this is maybe like probably the main function of this game. Not the main function, but that's the actual like how to decide how bad it actually is. So I used basically my the actual impact. Uh, it was helped by Gemini, like to actually see like how bad stuff is. Like here, uh, basically checks all the variables from the value. So here I didn't show this earlier. Let value. I mean I made it all in one line because it's easier for me. I usually like set everything in one line. Like if it's like this, I know a lot of people like to put in different lines. I just don't like it. But yeah, basically it lays them all out, and it uses the same ID as the actual like entities. So let's go for example, car electric. Uh, so you can see a car electric, and it's the same as the actual ID of the value. Here, electric ID. It's just to make it easier, so I don't have to like change different things. It's easier like that. So here basically it takes the inputs from all of them, all 16 inputs. It checks the actual max values. These are the max values I decided for them, which are the same ones as all the way down here when I actually assigned them. This I did in class, like when I showed you the initial like changes. I think I showed you sir in class, like this part, if I'm not mistaken. This was like one of the first things I did in this code, just the actual things. At first it was like event and then just the max value. Then I just kept adding on to it because like I needed more precision with them. But yeah, so we're here. It takes the actual inputs of those and saves them as cars. I could have done it directly with the inputs, but like as I like typed here, if you change them like midway, like it might like cause something which you don't want. So I just store them in constants and then use the actual constants for the values. So these are the max values. These are the weights. The weights like these ones, it took a long time to figure out because I wanted to make them as realistic as possible, and like they were like I was chatting with Gemini, sorry, not ChatGPT, with Gemini for like a long time. Like we were trying to find the best weights possible for the real life like impact, and then I just used clamp like to make it so it's between 0 and 1, and I used clamp for all of them. For car impact, I combine these two, like cars and the actual car percentage, to make it more realistic. Because if this is all cars in the world, you can like set how many of them are electric. So it's cars impact instead of like total car and energy. These ones are bad constants. Like the bigger they are, the worse for the environment, and these ones, the bigger they are, the better for the environment. So I have the raw score. It calculates, like it adds them all up, like the actual values times their weights, and it adds them all up. Here I set the max of the raw score so it doesn't go above 2.53. And here is the minimum input, like of the like after it's processed. The output minimum is 1.1 and it's 4.5. That's not the max value, but it's as close to it as possible. And here, like, you can it's easy to understand, like, the what's it called, the actual logic of it. For the actual logic, like, I was making it for like a week, like straight with Gemini. Like, it helped me out a bit. Like, it was, yeah. I mean, it made it like much easier if I were to do it alone. If I were to do it alone, it'd probably take me like 2 weeks instead of 1 week. So yeah, Gemini is like really powerful for like maths and stuff and like functions. That's what I like about that. And this one, so it uses control points. This is like I found this from like Stack Overflow, and I also like asked like with Gemini like to help me understand it and also to help me implement it in my code. So here I set, like, once I understood it, I set the actual comments for this one, so it's easier for you to correct. I laid it all out, like what every part means. So that's for the happiness. For these ones, they pretty much follow the same logic, so I didn't add like as much comments onto them. The only like comment like I added was like the because here it's for every country there is a different like control points, unlike for this one which uses universal, but it's pretty much the same like logic. So these ones, they use the same logic, and these ones change GUI on top. That's literally just the GUI on top, like the little start menu. It changes it according to the value given. Leave country, that's literally once you leave the country, it runs this, which makes the stuff invisible, and it also hides the variables. It doesn't actually move you, but from the country, it just like hides stuff which you don't want to be seen like outside in the menu, like the open, return, show info and stuff. Enter country, that's actually to show them. Hide variables, these are the actual like variables, like the in the actual countries which you can change, like the amount of cars and stuff. Show variables, literally show them instead of hide them. And make attribute, this one, uh, it's simple to understand. It just basically takes the ID of the actual track. Handler just uses literally the same thing but adds h to it, and label, it adds v onto it. I made it like that so it's easier to understand. And basically intersection, this like to actually make sense of where you pressed on the little variables. It uses intersection to make it so it gets the point where you clicked, and it calculates like which part of the slider you clicked, because you can't use like native sliders in Aframe, so I had to get creative. So if you just go through it, it's easy to understand. It's not that like complicated. uh it, it uses like, these are just from the values like on top. Like for example, like this is the actual event, the max the value can be. There's so many like decimal points. This is oh yeah, because the variables, like, they can either be like in front of you or to the side. Like, let me just show you real quick. You probably understand what I mean. So here you have like these variables in front of you and this one's to the side. So that's what that means. Like side clip, that's because like some values it needed, because JavaScript is bad. And for this one, for example, like sometimes it would show 7.49000004, for example. So I had to like clip, and that's like a like boolean. Do you want to clip it or not? And this is the actual value you want to clip it to. And pers was that let me see all the way down, because I made this like oh yeah, if it's percentage or no, yeah, yeah. I made it, for example, like these ones, they're percentages. Well, these ones aren't. So I just had pers at the end, which gives it that at the end. Yeah, and it's simple to understand. So we got there. That's the make attribute. I mean, that's all of the code, and these ones are just yeah. This is the the open button, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the open button which shows and hides the variables. I could have done event set, but this I did this at the start of creating this game, so it's I kind of stay with document query selector like this instead of making an event listener. And the test, so yeah, these ones are the actual values here, and the little test, that's the one in the instructions to make it easier for the user to understand. Like once you go instructions, it just shows like this variable which you can influence. It's just like a demo variable. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the code. Like the main function is probably I mean there isn't really a main function, because like this one, it's important, it's this one's like really important, but so is this one. Where is it? Yeah, calculate. So it's either like a main value, it would probably be this one or this one, because this one it decides like the sliders, and this one is actually like how they influence the nature. An update value, this one, I don't know if I showed it earlier. Basically, once you click it, this gets called. It sets the value where you click to the value. Here just console logs to make it easier for me while I was debugging. Final, it doesn't like influence the actual like how fast it executes. It does, but like very slightly. So final, that's the actual variable, like this one, that's the actual final variable. Here, like it's 1.03, it's not exactly 1. Uh, it's really close to 1, but it's like it's not like it's really hard like to make exactly 1, because you had to because I had to like tweak the weights and stuff, and this is close as possible. So this is like how you set the values. It's at the actual value. It it gets the final. It sets it to calculate environmental impact. That's the one I showed earlier, and it runs this for change Turkey 2, Netherlands, and change Malta. And it also changes the money value, temperature value, and happiness value. Yeah, so that. This has been already for 30 minutes, and thank you for watching. I think now you understand everything about my project, and thanks for watching, sir.